Jungle.
Welcome to Coffee Talk. I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace, 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 and welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast. This is your Cultural Variety Podcast show, and I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast show. How are y'all doing today, this October 30th, 2002? How are you doing today? We got a great show lined up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got a great show lined up tonight. And basically, it's a question from a commercial that I saw by two candidates that are running for attorney general. And I wanted to really break down the commercial, what they both are campaigning. And I just want you to be able to hear it and make your own conclusion based off of it and what you do this coming election. Give me one moment. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But before we begin our show tonight, I just want to ask you, how are y'all doing? On a scale of 1 through 10, 10 being the best, how are you feeling today? Did you get your goals accomplished today? Did you write down your goals as to what you want to do in the next coming days, weeks, months, year? Whatever it is, may you have had a positive and successful day, a day of harmony, a day of peace, a day of knowledge building, a day of good health, a day of relaxation away from sorrow. So those is my greetings to you all. And I'm happy to have you here. Thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk. Now, if this is your first time tuning into our show, we are a cultural variety podcast show. We appear 3 days a week. And on Sunday, Monday, alternate days of the week, we like to give you what we call our cultural studies night. And because our culture and our story is so big and broad that we bounce around. So that way we can give a little bit to the youth, a little bit to men, a little bit to women, a little bit back to the elderly, and also be open ears to receive the knowledge and the wisdom from our elders. And that's just what we do on Sundays and Monday nights. Got to excuse me, my chair is the air goes down a little bit. But so yeah, that's what we do here on Cultural Studies Night. So tonight I want to talk to you about two candidates that are running for attorney general in the state of Minnesota, and a commercial that is being presented across the airways by one of the candidates, and we're definitely going to speak on that. But before we start our show, we never start our show without giving it its flavor of the day, hence Coffee Talk flavor, and of course its wise words before we start the show. Here at Coffee Talk Podcast, we love to give our honors and our respect to all of our people, and that's just what it is. So tonight's flavor is something that I have in my cup actually right now, as you can see. Tonight's flavor is rum chata and coffee. That's right, rum chata and coffee. Why rum chata and coffee? Well, rum chata and coffee is so smooth. It's so appealing. It's tasteful with an acquired yet sexy taste. Rum chata goes well as an after dinner drink or For brunch, rum chata is a cream liquor made with cinnamon and rum. And when you mix that with your coffee on a night like this, which was a nice 60, 65 degrees, this is very nice right now. Nice little chill little drink. Crack your windows open and enjoy your day. No doubt. All right. So tonight is rum chata. Let me know what you're drinking on. Go ahead and leave a comment in the like button. Hit the like button, share the video. But let me know what you're drinking tonight. Tonight is Sunday, and some of you people are even going out on a Sunday night, doing the Halloween thing. To each their own. But it sounds like a oxymoron per se to go out on a Sunday wearing devilish things. But hey, that's just me. But let's go ahead and jump right into the wise words, and we're just going to get into the show tonight. Tonight's wise words is from a philanthropist, a historian, a great actor. And this man left a quote for us today here at Coffee Talk Podcast, Wise Words. And this quote is from no other than Mr. Harry Belafonte. If you don't know who Harry Belafonte is, I would ask that you go ahead and start looking that brother up. He is one of ours, great activist as well, pioneer and ancestor. Harry Belafonte said, "Where is the raised voice of Black America? Why are we mute? Where is the voice of Black America? And why are we mute? Where is the raised voice of Black America? And why are we mute?" This is Mr. Harry Belafonte's wise words here at Coffee Talk Podcast. The reason why we started that out with that wise word is because what I've been seeing lately on social media. Ever since Kanye came out and gave his thoughts on his experiences as a Black man, what hurt me the most wasn't what Kanye said. But what hurt me the most is how we continuously saw other Black males share different posts back and forth talking about, oh, they took this away from Kanye. Oh, now they're taking this from Kanye. Oh, now they're taking this. Kanye better be careful. Now they're taking this. And what it sounded to me was like a bunch of I don't want to say coon, but it is cooning. So you couldn't speak about nothing positive about what Kanye said or what Kyrie said. Or to even have open dialect, whether you agree or disagree. You didn't do that. You went right into the fear of, oh, they're taking this and they're taking this. And by you showing those type of posts of concernment, that's not uplifting your brothers or your sisters. But it sounds more like you're punking out. You're not standing 10 toes down. And then another set of you, soon as the media, the trendy media, gives you their thoughts on who to like and who to hate and who to love and who to say is crazy and whatnot, you can't wait. No, you don't like to research. No, you don't like to study your culture. No, you don't really know nothing about your culture, but you can't wait to be the first one to speak on whatever trendy topic is going on. Yeah, because you want the attention. Or you want to just mislead and misguide other people by speaking on stuff that you have no means to go and research. find the facts in something. No, you just want to be the first one heard, the first one to tell a story. Just like news companies today. They don't care if the story's right or wrong. They just want to go ahead and be the first one to say, hey, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. For the ratings or the publicity, people are the same way. We don't want to investigate anything. We want them to just pick our heroes and destroy our heroes right in front of us. And we just quick to jump on the bandwagon. Anytime it's a black person, black people are the main ones that want to start attacking our people. Instead of saying, hold up, let me go ahead and listen to what my people are saying. And if somebody don't like what they saying and they outside of the family, then so be it. They don't like what they saying. But as a family, we would discuss that in-house. But we don't start turning our backs on our brothers. It's sad. That's cooning to me. Or whatever word you want to put in there. That's cooning to me. And some of you may not like the word cooning. Some of you may feel like, oh man, I want to fight now. Somebody call me a coon. But that is what it is. If you need to have an image with word. So today on Coffee Talk Podcast, we have an election coming up November 5th for Attorney General. And it's between these two gentlemen, as you can see in my upper right-hand corner here. Mr. Jim Schwartz, Republican, and Democrat Keith Ellison. Now, I want to say this based on Coffee Talk Podcast. On behalf of Coffee Talk Podcast, I want to say that this opinion does not affect the company of Coffee Talk Podcast. It's just thoughts, questions. But I want to do this before we jump into this question. I'm glad that you're here. Continue to watch the show here. Let's talk about these two candidates. The first candidate, again, his name is Jim Schwartz. He's a Republican that won the Republican primary back in August. He actually beat out Doug Wardlow and Sharon Anderson. Jim Schwartz won 53% of the electoral votes for that Republican primary for Attorney General here in the state of Minnesota. Is person he'll be going against also won his primary election for the Democratic primary and also our current Attorney General, Keith Ellison. Keith Ellison beat out Bill Dawn. Keith Ellison recorded 347,845 votes compared to Bill Dawn, who only received 41,000 votes, according to ballotpedia.org. Well, now the general elections are actually, did I say November 5th? They're actually November 8th. So the general elections are coming up. And the Attorney General race is probably the biggest one on the platform here in the state of Minnesota. Why? Because the media is playing a divide and conquer game of these two people and using people at two parties that people argue about. When I tell you all the time, neither one really is for the people. Neither one. However, I got to be fair and talk about both parties so that you can make the proper choices. Well, Jim Schwartz has this video out. That's the guy up there in the corner. And that's Keith. Jim Schwartz has this video aimed at abortion. Now, before we get in too deep, I need you to really be listening. Really be listening because my thoughts are a woman can do what she pleases with her body. Who's to say she can't do this and that when it's her body? You're hearing that first. It's not edited out. You're hearing it first here from SABA here at Coffee Talk Podcast that a woman's body is hers to do what she shall please. Okay. Whether we agree with it or don't agree with it, whether we like it, whether we don't like it, that's her body. Okay. But Jim Shorts has this commercial where I believe the Democrats created it, coming from Keith's side. And it states that this guy, Jim Schwartz, wants to end all abortions. I saw the video. Lasted 30 seconds or so. And I thought to myself, when they mentioned that this guy wants to stop abortions, right? Mind you, I'm not a Democrat. Mind you, I'm not a Republican. But they say Jim Schwartz states, I want to end abortions. I don't want there to be abortion. So the first thing that comes to my mind is Margaret Thatcher, who put and influenced and pioneered Planned Parenthood and suggested those be in our communities. And in the black communities, the urban communities, you have Planned Parenthoods all throughout. Not as many as you had in the 90s, but you still have them. But I also remember being taught that the Planned Parenthoods in our communities was one of the first depopulation plans, right? So this guy, being Jim Schwartz, states in his campaign that he wants to ban abortion. So I wanted to look at this from both lenses, and it was very ironic. I thought, most people that are not critical thinkers, they're going to see this commercial, this 30-second commercial, and they're going to hear that piece, and they're going to go on the defense right away. Why? Several reasons. One is because he's a Republican. So we've already been conditioned that whatever Republicans say, we're ready to go against it. You take in a vision of them storming the White House, or you take in a vision of him looking crazy as he looks. No disrespect to Jim Schwartz, but hey, the voice edits that they have on you got you looking crazy. Let's say that, and you're a Republican. I'm just telling you how people that are non-critical thinkers is going to take it. They jump on the offense first. But this candidate, Jim Schwartz, says he wants to ban abortion. So as I further start to think about it, I go, oh, he may be a Republican. We may agree with him. We may not agree with him. But if he's stating that he wants to ban abortions, wouldn't that be taking away the abortion clinics out of the communities? Now, I know fear is one thing that both groups, political groups, use on the people to get votes. So I wanted to think further as if I wasn't a critical thinker. And I said, With that segment, with that sound bite of him saying he wants to ban abortions, a non-critical thinker will say, "Well, I believe there should be abortions because I've had an abortion before." Or they'll say, "I believe there should be abortions because I've been raped or incest." Okay, not to say that that doesn't happen, but let's continue to listen. Like I said, both parties like to use fear tactics. So I wanted to continue digging down this rabbit hole. And I thought to myself, I said, listen, if this guy wanted to end abortions, any politician, in a way, wouldn't that be good for the man and the woman today? Why you say that, Saba? Because I believe that it will create some type of discipline that the young girls, young ladies won't be going out here getting pregnant before they're ready by anybody. Little Reggie and them, little Ed and them, little Pookie, little Johnny, little whoever. It would prevent children being born out of wedlock, right? It also would create a discipline from a male's perspective, which a lot of males need to be better. It would create a discipline that the man would not go and just spill, excuse my French here today, but go impregnate any woman that he's not ready to wife, culturally or legally. So how can Jim Swartz, Republican, be wrong in saying that he wants to end abortion? Now listen, I know it's a touchy subject. Some women will say, you know, I can do what I want with my body. However, I believe that a woman should be able to have an abortion only under the conditions of rape and incest or a health condition. I'll say that again. I believe that a woman should only have an abortion based under the conditions. If it's health related, she has to because of incest or rape. Now let's take a look at Keith Ellison. Good old Keith Ellison. I respect and I admire Keith Ellison. I would like to say he's a family friend and associate. And when I think of Keith, several things come to mind. First thing I think about is when he had his differences with Minister Louis Farrakhan. However, I let that go because the differences of two men, whether I agree with it or not agree with it, is amongst them. And that was his thoughts. So I let it go. Keith wins Attorney General back in 2018. At the time, I believed that Keith was the best candidate. Today I have a question. Not saying that he's not the best candidate. No, I'm not saying that. But I want our people to be able to think clearly and critically before either casting a vote or not casting. What do you mean, Sab? What I mean is this. For the last 8 to 10 years now, the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, hasn't really said much about what they are willing to give to garner your vote, to get your vote. The last time you heard anything come out of the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, in regards to black people, is that if you don't vote Democrat, you ain't black. This was said by our president, Joe Biden, a man that's not black. If you don't vote Democrat, you must not be black. So I start to think a little bit more with Keith. Keith, you did an excellent job taking over the George Floyd situation case. You did a good job. You made sure that the law is not interrupted. And that was a universal law for the wrongs that was committed to our brother, Mr. George Floyd. You did a wonderful job, Keith. But my question is, when it comes time, November 8th, 2022, for the general election between Mr. Jim Schwartz and Mr. Keith Ellison, is the George Floyd situation going to be enough to want you to re-vote Keith in? I want you to ask yourself, are you voting Keith in based on the Obama theory, the Obama image? What do I mean by that, Sal? Keith is nice, well-mannered brother, respectable, nice haircut, nice, well-reserved look about himself. And so again, when our people are not thinking critically, we'll just put that vote in. But the only thing I'm catching off of Keith's campaign is that he's going to stick up for women's rights. I believe all women have rights. I believe all men have rights. I believe all people have rights. But as I pay attention to your campaign, I don't hear nothing being said for black men, Keith. Are we going to cherish the triumph of your victory based on the fact that you beat the police department in a case that you should have won anyway? It would have been hard to mess that up when everybody worldwide saw what happened to our brother, Mr. George Floyd. May he rest in palaces. But that is the question that I just want y'all to think about tonight. Are we creating our own prejudice? Because as I say, Jim Schwartz, as you can see there, he doesn't have the look of a Keith Ellison. He doesn't look trustworthy. But the man is telling you up front what he wants to do, and that's end abortions. Remember when Elijah Muhammad was talking about abortions and how the abortions, you know, it was like the first depopulation to kill off our people. You can actually go and research the words of Margaret Thatcher and how she felt about our people and how she wanted to eliminate our people. And that was part of the Planned Parenthood. This is factual. So if a man such as Jim Schwartz is saying, I want to ban abortions, I just want you to think, people. And maybe we can ask Jim Schwartz, is that eliminating all of the Planned Parenthoods? And if so, that would be great, wouldn't it? See, we can't be on one side, then go to the other side and flip to the other side, my people. We have to decide what you want. That's why they have these votes, elections, and whatnot. But isn't that what that sounds like? Is that he wants to ban abortions? So if he wants to ban abortions, that means there's no more abortion clinics. I don't have a problem with that. And by not having the abortion clinics, perhaps this will make our young ladies and our women and perhaps our men think before they go and just have a baby by anybody. Wouldn't that be good that there would no longer be just babies born out of wedlock? Right now, statistically, there's not many men in the homes as it is. And we need fathers in the homes. But I also know men that done had babies by women that they never intended to have babies by. Now we can sit here and go blah blah who's at fault and that, but that's not the topic tonight. Tonight is the campaign. Mr. Jim Schwartz, Mr. Keith Ellison. Keith, we need you to talk about more than what you're going to do. Democratic Party, if you want that vote, we need you to talk about more than just police brutality. You've been using the police brutality campaign for quite some time. And there's nothing else coming out of the campaign. Our schools are still doing horribly. The price of living is going up. Star Tribune reported today that there's no places for the young teens to go that have small crimes, small problems, where they could go and get help and correct their errors. There used to be a place called Totem Town, like a little camp, little jail for young teens, and that experience would make them not want to go to the big jails. All about choices, of course. But I want you to think about that when you get ready to cast your votes this November 8th, whether you cast them or whether you don't. I don't like to waste a vote. So that means I'd rather keep my vote than just give it to any candidate. I don't want to give it to a candidate just because he looks sharp. He walks like Michael Jordan. He likes to talk about basketball, blah, blah, blah. And his only campaign is living off of some tragic moment. What else, though? What else? Then you have this guy, this Republican Jim Schwartz saying, hey, I just want to cancel out abortions. But because he's Euro, we're placing prejudice on it as well, saying, oh, or because he's Republican, we're placing prejudice on it, going, but he's a Republican. See, the title Democrat and Republican, they're both the same party. And our people even do that. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So they go, well, I'd rather pick the lesser of the two evils. No. What do you mean? If they're both evil, or if they're both not saying nothing to you that is going to be of assistance to your growth, why cast the vote anyway? Just keep it. That's what I mean by don't waste your vote. What is your thoughts tonight on this question as we prepare for the general election November 8th, 2022, between these two candidates, Democratic primary winner Keith Ellison and Republican primary winner Jim Schwartz, as they battle it out for state attorney general here in the Twin Cities? Go ahead and leave a comment, hit the like button, share the video, subscribe. Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. So with that being said, I would like to thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast tonight, this Sunday night, for our Cultural Studies night. May you enjoy the flavor, as you can see on the screen, the rum chata. Nice coffee with a nice Caribbean rum mix. And thank you for continuing to support the show. We really appreciate you. And we definitely want to hear what you got to say about tonight's topic. Again, go ahead and leave a comment, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe to Coffee Talk Podcast. We appear 3 days a week. Mondays, Sunday, Monday, alternate. Wednesday, and Friday, Saturday, alternate. Until next time, I'm going to hit you with the universal peace sign. I'm your big brother, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA. And this is our Cultural Variety Podcast Show. Peace.